Alright, welcome back for day 5. The title of the lesson plan 5 is Violence. We're going to learn a little bit about violence. The date is May 9th, 2013, 8 a.m. National Health Education Standards. We're going to be using 1, 3, 4, and 5. The National Health Education Standards Performance Indicator. Students will provide thorough knowledge in order to enhance health. They're going to learn a lot about violence. Students will demonstrate the ability to apply decision-making skill to resolve a conflict in order to benefit from the situation by being a thorough problem solver. So we'll learn that by the end of class period. Valued outcomes. Students will be educated on what violence is. They're gonna be able to draw in a lot of information about violence. Middle school. When I was in middle school, I became introduced to violence. There was a lot of fights in my middle school. Didn't really know about that in elementary, and I think that's really good to teach as in a health class in middle school. Students will be able to recognize what causes violence. So anything along the lines of someone getting mad at somebody else, things like that. They're going to be able to recognize what caused someone to be violent. Students will be able to deflate a situation that may promote violence. So those are my valued outcomes that I want each student to do. So I'm going to write them on here. Educated about violence. Recognizing what causes violence. If you can read that. And being able to deflate a situation that may provoke violence. So I'm just going to write escaping from a situation that promotes violence. So these are the 3 that I want. That I want to be able to, kind of learn and teach about and have the students be able to conduct these 3. Description of strategy. I'm going to give me a second here. I need to grab a new piece of chalk. We're going to watch it. I'm going to get a video. We're going to watch a video on violence. Have the students take down notes and key points about violence. For example, causes. I want students to see the situation that's prevented or that's presented, who's involved, and what was done or what the outcome was. Just with this video, it's, going to keep it simple. Provide basic info. And they're just going to take notes, on these basic info, causes, situation, who might be involved if they present a situation, and the outcome. And there's somebody at the door. After that, we're going to discuss what the key points were. So these, we're going to discuss a little bit about them. I'll have somebody or maybe call on students to, provide some notes that they took down. We'll discuss about them. We'll have students provide an example of what can cause violence. So I'll have a student, if they think they know an example, what might cause violence, I'll call on somebody if they know. So say I call on somebody, they say money. I'll have them provide an example. So they might say, well, John took Jack's lunch money, so Jack is upset, and that may lead to violence. Just something like that. Maybe a little bit more in depth since I'm teaching middle schoolers. you know, and then we'll get to, you know, discussing health risks of violence. And again, it might explain this in the movie that we'll watch. Depends on the movie that we'll watch. Actually, I actually had a movie picked out. So yes, health risk factors will be provided in the movie. We'll discuss a little bit about what those are. You know, as a class, we'll discuss a little bit. And I better finish up because I think the class is ready to take over. I'll get students into groups of 4. We'll have them conduct a skit or play that creates a situation that might promote violence. And one of the students is able to, you know, deflate the situation or kind of escape from a situation that may lead to violence. So, for example, a group of 4 comes up here, you know, boy 1, boy 2, boy 3, and boy 4. Boy 1 and 2 are hanging out, they're playing basketball. Boy 3 comes over, you know, yells at boy 1 and 2 saying they stole their basketball. Boy 4 sees that boy 3 is getting mad at boy 1 and 2. I know this is a lot to, you know, listen for right now, but boy 4 comes over, you know, deflates the situation, promotes good problem-solving skills. That's what I'm kind of looking for in each play or skit that the groups present. Materials needed, we'll need a computer, pen and paper, you know, something that along the lines of, you know, maybe, what's the word I'm looking for, maybe, you know, if they need something they want to make something for, you know, the skit, I'm at loss for the word right now. Formative evaluation, benchmarks, students are able to identify what violence is. So, and again, I'll explain it. The movie will explain it, and we'll talk about it in class discussion, and we'll talk about it after each group presents their skit. Students are able to identify the health risks of violence. So, right here, causes, so health risk factors goes along with that. We'll learn about that in the movie. They will be able to provide me, or maybe a student that will provide me with a health risk factor, and then I'll build off of that student. I'll provide more to the student class or the student body or classroom, and we'll go over it. We'll cover all a big chunk of health risk factors for violence. You know, for example, violence. You know, you can die from violence. You can break a bone, something like that. Students were able to show thorough knowledge of what causes violence. So again, students are able to give me an example. For example, money. You know, Johnny might give me an example of maybe theft. Actually, hopefully for points of emphasis, I said please explain what violence is. Please explain the health risks of violence is what I meant. And I want also for my final is explain why it is smart to avoid violence. So with all the information they gather from watching the movie, me giving them general basic info of violence, and then hopefully they take stuff down, notes down from the movie, what they learned from the movie, and class participation, class discussion, stuff like that. Hopefully they're able to, you know, explain why it is smart to avoid violence. You know, violence is bad. You know, you get hurt from it. I want each student to know, and maybe we'll go a little bit in depth since we're teaching middle schoolers. You know, maybe we'll go on the lines with domestic violence or something along the lines of that. That's it for lesson plan 5. The title was Violence. The date was May 9th, 2013. Time 8 a.m. Thank you.